Greetings to all who wish to be greeted. I'm MegaPacKid, and this is my game shelf. We're gonna need a lot of these because today we're talking about the coolest, most awesome, most anti-virgin video game genre out there, Battle Royales. The earliest, most popular Battle Royale that I can remember was Minecraft Hunger Games, which was a fan's attempt to recreate the Hunger Games in Minecraft. The Hunger Games, if you don't know, is an event in the dystopian novel and later film series by author Suzanne Collins, in which 24 contestants would have to battle to the death until there was only one remaining. The book is one of, if not the last books that I read to completion, and I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. But this isn't a book review video, this is a video game review video, so let's get back to the video games. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Fortnite Battle Royale, and Apex Legends were all gaining a bunch of popularity, with Fortnite Battle Royale on its way to becoming the most popular video game of all time. A lot of people who had nostalgia for Minecraft decided that that wasn't going to happen, and especially because it was a free game, there was no way for it to become the best-selling video game. So everyone banded together and made Minecraft the best-selling video game of all time to really stick it to all those little kids who liked Fortnite Battle Royale. Something I find interesting is gamers hate video games that are popular, and particularly video games that are popular with young kids. First it was Call of Duty, then it was Five Nights at Freddy's, then it was Fortnite. Even Minecraft was a game that everyone thought was just a kid's game for a really long time, and yet who all came crawling back to it years later? Everyone who was kids back then. The Battle Royale genre was climbing in popularity and fast, and was really defined by Minecraft Hunger Games, although it was refined by games like PUBG, Fortnite, and Apex. It's sort of like how the Completa is a Chilean refined version of the hot dog. 100 players battle to the death in a vast arena that is increasingly shrinking. They usually use ranged weapons, and despite being the gal who made Shooter Games Week for several years, I'm not really into modern shooter games, especially on console. I just can't coordinate my hands into moving my character with one thumbstick and the camera with another, while also using my index and middle fingers to hit triggers. To me, those types of controls are best done on a keyboard and mouse, but even though I had a computer that was definitely able to run a game like Fortnite, I still had no interest in it, and I think that's okay. That means I need a game that's a little more my speed. See, I'm a Nintendo dork, which means I like games that are fun and simple, which is why I was so excited when Nintendo announced that Fortnite was coming. Oh, darn it! This advertisement is so surreal because Reggie Fils-Aimé is saying all of these Fortnite terms, which at the time were huge memes to just say on their own. But for Reggie Fils-Aimé to say it, Mr. My Body is Ready himself, it was crazy.
I can't wait to drop off the battle bus and meet some of you on the battlefield in Fortnite.
Online multiplayer was offered on Nintendo Switch for free for a while, but Nintendo did say that they would be replacing it with a paid version later, and later eventually came with the release of Nintendo Switch Online. It was more than online multiplayer, it had a few extra perks like retro video games, and really that's the main value of the service, is the access to the retro video games. These days, I think the whole package being available for $50 a year is definitely fair. Not only do you get access to a ton of retro games, you get access to online multiplayer, which is available in said retro games, and you get the app as well as backing up your save data. Okay, really it's the retro games and the online multiplayer, but honestly, I think $50 a year is a good price, especially when you consider the price of a modern video game is usually $60. And a lot of people that I heard complain about this were video game YouTubers who definitely spend more than $50 a year on video games anyway. I mean, you're essentially buying a new video game every year with this price, and you're getting much more than that, so Bottom line is, I think if you have enough money to spend on a Nintendo Switch, you probably have enough money to buy a year's worth of Nintendo Switch Online. And you don't even need the expansion pass. Although with it, you get one more thing. DLC, or at least free access to it. Not to mention, there are games that are exclusive to Nintendo Switch Online, and I'm not just talking about how the retro titles aren't really available anywhere else on Nintendo Switch. I mean actual games that were created with Nintendo Switch Online in mind. This is a huge moment in video game history with the announcement of Tetris Battle Royale, as some fans called it, although its legal name is Tetris 99. You versus 98 players all playing Tetris against each other. This is an insane concept, and I'd like to think that someone at the Tetris company just saw someone memeing about Tetris Battle Royale and thought, hey, we can make a game out of that. A genre that was once dominated by shooters now has a game for people like me, retro gaming dorks. I guess we don't need these after all. This started a trend of video games that already existed being converted to the Battle Royale format, which I think is incredible. So today we're going to take a look at the 4 games in this genre, all exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, starting with Tetris 99. All of these games let you start out for free, although they come with paid DLC. It's sort of the best of both worlds. If you're really into the game and you want a definitive experience with extra modes, then you can pay the extra money that was required for that. But if you just want to play the main mode, then it's not inhibited at all in this experience. In Tetris 99's main mode, you play against 98 other players, and you can select who you want to attack. Attacking is done by clearing rows. The more rows you clear in more rapid succession, then the more garbage you send to your opponents. They can send garbage to you though, but fortunately clearing that counts as lines cleared. A skilled player will be able to do this with ease, and that's really part of the core Tetris gameplay rather than the Battle Royale genre. Tetris, and a lot of arcade games in general, if they're good, are games that anyone can play, but few can master. It's clear to see why Tetris 99 is still so popular all these years later. Tetris was the best-selling video game for a long time before Minecraft beat it out, and even now it's still the second best-selling. This is a brand that is so widely recognizable, anyone will play it, especially if they're getting it for free. Well, $20 a year, but still. A lot of where these games get their money from is the extra themes. Because these games don't really matter in the graphics department, you can get them to look however you want and the gameplay won't be affected. So you can have different themes, and Nintendo themes events around games that are releasing in order to promote them. Once you get enough points in an event, then you get the theme. Unfortunately, while these events are going on, you can't turn the theme off, which I wish you could, because then most of my footage wouldn't be Xenoblade Chronicles related. Another thing I don't like about this game is that there's a bit of a sensory overload. There's a reason why I put a flashing images warning at the beginning of this video, because, well, technically it's not like a strobe effect, it's just not good. It's too bright, and it happens too often, especially if you're getting good at the game. It honestly feels like it's punishing players for doing well. But in this case, first was not the worst, and obviously I'm a big Tetris fan. I've made 2 videos on it now, so whatever. Even with these little gripes, it's still an amazing game, because Tetris is an amazing game. And That's something that is really at the core of these retro battle royales. If you're going to take a game and convert it to the battle royale format, you have to do it with a game that's fun enough to do this with. In fact, a fan made Super Mario Bros. Battle Royale, in which 100 players played the same Mario level and tried to get to the end the fastest, but Nintendo eventually took this game down. However, they were doing it because they were going to release a game like this of their own. Super Mario Bros. 35 for Super Mario Bros.' 35th anniversary. This game series has the most confusing titles in the world. Super Mario Bros. 35 was modeled largely after Tetris 99, in which you and 34 other players would battle it out playing one level of Super Mario Bros. When you defeated an enemy, you would send it to the people you were attacking, in which they would appear as gray enemies. Very similar to Tetris 99, although nothing that disrupts the Super Mario Bros. Formula that works so well. This game was so super fun, but you may have noticed that the Super Mario Bros. 35 footage looks different from the footage of games in the rest of this video. And that's because Super Mario 35 ended a long time ago, in fact. On April 1st, 2021, the game officially went offline. It's so weird to me that this game was just taken away like this, because so many people liked it and were playing it. It was so popular, although that may have been because this was the plan from the beginning. People knew it was an experience that they weren't going to get to experience indefinitely, so perhaps the game's popularity was inflated? I know I certainly only bought Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and the Blade of Light when I did because it was a limited release, even digitally. It's so weird that Nintendo makes such fun versions of their games, but then gives them one critical flaw, like only being available on a system that's limited hardware, or only making it available for not even a year. This game was incredibly fun, but World 1-1 and World 1-2 being some of the best levels meant that when everyone votes on a level to play, then those are the ones that you're probably going to be seeing a lot of, which made it difficult to unlock every level in the game, which made it difficult to unlock Luigi, who was only playable if you did that. I'm still satisfied with everything I was able to do in that game, however. So satisfied that I was actually okay when a game came a week later to replace it, Pac-Man 99. Now, I love Pac-Man. Here's footage of me in 2014 to prove that.
Pac-Man's in Smash Brothers 4!
Obviously, I'm a big Pac fan. I named myself after Pac-Man. It's an incredible game, and so Pac-Man Battle Royale happening was a really fun idea. And then I played the game. Rounds in Pac-Man 99, if you're any good, take so long. Super Mario Bros. 35 had kind of the same problem, but again, everyone was playing that because eventually they wouldn't be able to. So many people just got off of Pac-Man 99. In fact, when I was playing to get footage for this video, I got a fraction of actual real people playing the game. Hell, it makes sense that Nintendo revealed their next retro battle royale before this game even went off the airwaves. Pac-Man 99 also had DLC, something Super Mario Bros. 35 didn't have, as I recall, but I never really got it, which I'm a little ashamed of because I really like the gameplay of this. I think it would have been great to have computer player matches, but unfortunately, if you didn't buy it, then you weren't able to get it, which is weird because the DLC was taken off the Nintendo eShop before the game was. That sucks. I really wanted to give them money, but oh well. Maybe it's just because I really like Pac-Man and I really wanted to get the Pac-1 one last time, but it's whatever. I'll always have the memories. and the memory of the game on my micro SD card, because like Super Mario Bros. 35, I still haven't deleted it even though I can't play the game anymore. All the loading stuff still works, it just tells you that the service has ended and it thanks you for your continued interest. It's really polite for a screen that essentially tells you to go screw yourself. But of course, in light of the ending of Pac-Man 99 on October 8th, 2023, a game came before that end date. F-Zero 99. So Tetris 99 had its own assets, but various themes you could get. Super Mario Bros. 35 used the assets from the original game and nothing more. Pac-Man 99 was similar to Tetris 99, but its default setting was the arcade assets. And F-Zero 99 is the first of these games to actually be available in widescreen, but still using the assets from the Super Nintendo game. F-Zero is an action-packed series of racing games that ended at F-Zero GX on the GameCube. Many people have wanted the series to come back, and it's been referenced in series like Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart. F-Zero 99, however, is the first entry we've gotten in the series in so long. In fact, many people, including myself, have speculated that F-Zero 99 is an experiment by Nintendo. Make a game that's easy to produce and won't take much time to produce, that's fun, and captures the spirit of F-Zero, to see how popular is F-Zero really. See, Nintendo fans like to do this thing where they ask for games and series they don't actually care about just because the people who do actually care about them like them and they want those fans to be happy. This results in games like Super Mario Strikers or Mario Golf Superstars or Super Mario Maker 2 in getting made and ultimately not selling very well for Nintendo to justify filling the game up with lots of content. This practice of Nintendo's has been heavily criticized, especially by Scott the Woz, so I think this is a good middle ground. Why experiment with a game that's supposed to have a lot of content, like an F-Zero release, when you can make a game that won't have a lot of content to begin with? Really, how many people have played the first F-Zero game? It's available on Nintendo Switch Online, but how many people actually played it? I played it just because of F-Zero 99, but F-Zero 99 is free, and in my opinion is a little better. Despite using the same assets, there were still a lot of things that were created for this. You can attack people in this version by spinning around, and if you get enough gold orbs, then you can ride on this super highway above the match for a while until you get sent down with the other 98 players. This game's core mode is so fun, and so far there hasn't been any, if at all, DLC released for it. It's still in its infancy, but I still really like it. Players vote on a track to go on at 1 of 2 in the main mode, and if you're playing a mini-pre or any of the other modes, then it's still super fun. I have not been able to do very well in this game, as it's absurdly unfair, but that's part of the joy in it. And I think F-Zero was one of the greatest games to do it with. Its high-paced action is just so fun to put in a battle royale game, and I'm just so glad that of all the genres to be touched by this thing, racing was one of them. Well, this is an odd group of franchises to be battle royale-ified. I mean, be honest, if you went to a party and these 4 people were the only 4 there, would you stay? I think all of these games are fun, and it's a real shame that half of them aren't playable anymore. I very much dislike lost media, and especially companies that are willingly creating it. Sure, games that are in a limited release can still be found in store shelves, but games that rely on online multiplayer, I just don't see why they remove them. Pac-Man 99, maybe. But at least make the CPU mode still able to be purchased. Same with Super Mario Bros. 35, and that's a game that people were actually playing. Hell, if they made Pac-Man 35, then everyone who was playing the game in its end would have been filling up the game. These retro battle royales are a great introduction to the genre of battle royales, and are really more of my speed, especially because they're with IPs that I already recognize. It's a real shame that this subgenre is in its infancy, and it's already endangered. Although, when you have an endangered species, you have to repopulate. Well, I guess I really don't need these.